Good morning, everybody. Okay, my my light is not great. How's everybody doing today? Welcome, welcome. Mhm. All right, I think we're live. All right, it's good to be here. Today is Tuesday, March 31st. Last day. Last day. Hey, wait a minute. I thought okay. We started this challenge. Well, I just don't know because I thought we started this right on March 1st. Well, I don't know. We've gone on every day. Um, yeah, I'm going to have to spend a minute figuring that out. Not that it really matters. We're just going to go till we're done. Right? So just want to say a welcome to those that are catching this live. Welcome to our replayers. We always, encourage, if you can't catch the live, the replays are there. But just remember, on Facebook, they do leave. So probably today, day 1 and 2 are gone off of Facebook. Hi, Pastor Joseph Habari. Good to see. Well, I just know I can't see you, but I know you're there, my friends in Kenya. So welcome, Habari. Before we get started, I was thinking about something that I wanted to encourage you guys to add to your goals for this year. I can't make you, but I want to strongly encourage you to become a reader this year. Of course, the most important, where's my Bible? Oh, where did my Bible go? Well, it's over there. Of course, the Bible is the most important book, right? I think it's actually statistically the most read book or most bought book, I think. But even other books, faith-filled books, books on leadership or personal development, read good books. Read good books. And part of why I did this challenge live to read was because sometimes people don't have access to the books. So you kind of, when you listen to me, that's like having Audible, which is, for those maybe that don't know what Audible is, that's where you listen to someone reading a book. And so that's kind of what I'm doing, sort of. But I just want to encourage you, be a reader this year. And if you've not been a reader, then you know what a good goal could be. Read 1 or 2, right? Because that's more than none, right? If you have been a reader, but you've not really kept track, I encourage you to keep track and maybe increase it by 1. And you say, well, how do I do that? So you put on your vision board, okay, I want to read 12 books a year. Well, what does that mean daily, right? Because guess what? Just putting 12 books a year, that's got to somehow equate to what you're doing daily. And so does that mean 10 pages a day? Does that mean 20 minutes a day? I don't know. But I'm encouraging you to find out and to be a reader, become a reader. Readers are leaders. So, I just was thinking about that this morning and wanted to encourage you with that. Morning, Daniel. All right. So today's day our scripture is Revelation 12:11. Uh-oh. Where did it go? Okay. Revelation 12:11. And by the word of their testimony. And we know that the beginning part of that says they overcome, right? Since the release of The Circle Maker, I've become a connoisseur of prayer testimonies. Hardly a day goes by that I won't hear or don't hear a story that makes me want to cry or give God a round of applause. Those testimonies have lit a fire under my faith unlike anything I've ever experienced. Here's why. If God did it for them, he might just do it for me. Maybe that's why Revelation 12:11 places such importance on sharing testimonies. And maybe that's why the enemy wants us to keep our testimonies silent. This is what 12:11 says. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. When God answers a prayer, no matter how big or how small, we need to share it. It's a stewardship issue. If we don't turn the answer to prayer into praise, it may very well turn into pride. Giving testimony is the way we give God all the glory, but we also need to share it because others need to hear it. If we don't share our testimonies of how God is working in our lives, then others are tempted to think he isn't working at all. Jesus triumphed over the enemy by his shed blood on Calvary's cross. He broke the curse of sin so we can break the cycle of sin. But the way we seal the victory is through our testimonies. Our testimonies don't just remind us that the victory has already been won, they also remind the enemy that he has already been defeated. I wonder if the lack of awe in many churches is directly attributable to the lost art of the testimony. Churches that see people radically saved are usually churches that allow radically saved people to share their testimonies. Is it any wonder that what gets celebrated gets replicated? That's good, isn't it? When a testimony of healing is shared, for example, those who hear it get an infusion of faith to believe God for healing in their own lives. Those testimonies double as prophecies. When we share a testimony, we are loaning our faith to others. When we listen to a testimony, we are borrowing faith from others. Either way, the church is edified and God is glorified. In the worlds of criminal law and academic research, we see a big difference between first testimony and second person testimony. A first person witness is more credible because they actually saw it with their own eyes. Second person testimony is hearsay. It doesn't mean it's not true. It just means it doesn't hold as much weight. A testimony is powerful, in part because we cannot argue with it. It's irrefutable and undeniable. A personal testimony is our secret weapon, and that's why the enemy wants us to keep our testimony a secret. It's not a testimony if we don't share it with others. If we don't share our testimonies, we are robbing God of the glory he deserves. Wow. And we aren't just holding out on God, we're holding out on those who need to hear it. Our churches are filled with hearsay. What we need are witnesses with first-person testimonies. No amount of education can compensate for a lack of first-person experience. We don't get a testimony in seminary. We get a testimony by being tested. Can I share a secret with you? I don't like this chapter. This is an ouch chapter for me. And if we pass the test, we get a testimony. That testimony is worth far more than any seminary degree can afford. And that first person experience with God will override any of our inadequacies. Peter and John were described as unschooled, ordinary men. Yet the Jewish council was amazed at their boldness. It simply says they took note that these men had been with Jesus. Nothing can compare to the power of first-person testimony. The most educated second-person testimony still can't compare with a first-person witness. So go ahead and get an education. Study to present yourself to God as one approved. But please don't just get an education. Get a testimony. We don't change the world by going to graduate school or getting a degree. If we want to change the world, we must spend a lot of time with Jesus. Remember the Samaritan woman who was totally transformed by a single encounter with Jesus at the well? She went back to her village and shared her testimony. That testimony sparked faith in those who heard, but their faith was secondhand faith. They needed their own encounter with Jesus, and that's exactly what they got. The transition from secondhand to firsthand faith is evidenced in their words. Now we believe, not just because of what you told us, but because we have heard him ourselves. We cannot live off of someone else's experience forever. Secondhand faith is as dangerous as secondhand smoke. We need a faith with our own name written on it. Isn't this good? We need to own it, and it needs to own us. We can't just know what we believe. We need to know why we believe what we believe. And it must be continually upgraded. Don't be satisfied with just simply going to church. You get into God's presence. Don't be satisfied with hearsay. Get a word from the Lord for yourself. Don't be satisfied with secondhand faith. Get a testimony. One of my pastor friends and a local hero is Mike Minter. Mike is the founding pastor of Reston Bible Church, where he has served for nearly 4 decades. One day over coffee, Mike told me about a missionary friend named Jamie Winship, whose mission field is the Muslim world. Jamie travels to Baghdad frequently. He knows the Quran backward and forward, and he has led countless imams to faith in Jesus Christ. Jamie is one of those guys who prays crazy prayers and then crazy stuff happens. Divine appointments happen right and left. He'll be praying for a particular imam, and that imam will just happen to be on the same plane, going to the same place, or in the same restaurant at the table right behind him. One morning, Mike was scheduled to have breakfast with Jamie. So he prayed, "Lord, I'm sick of just hearing stories. I want to see one. Do something sovereign that is unmistakable." When they got in line to place their order, Mike noticed that the woman in front of them was wearing the traditional Muslim hijab, with a head covering. All they could see were her eyes. Jamie greeted her in Arabic, which got her attention. Then he said, "I know you." Even though he could see only her eyes, he said, "I heard you speak at the University of Georgia a year ago." To which she responded, "I remember you. You sat on the front row." Not only was this woman one of the most influential Muslim women in the world, but Jamie had been praying for her by name. Oh, this story gives me goosebumps. In fact, he had been praying that he would meet her, but he didn't know how to contact her. She happened to be in DC from out of town, and evidently God knew that they both liked the restaurant Panera Bread. As a result of the meeting, this woman contacted a number of leading imams who met with Mike and Jamie to dialogue about faith. I think Jamie's prayer, coupled with Mike's prayer for something sovereign to happen, collided at that restaurant that day. That is a divine appointment of biblical proportions, and it reveals the power of two people praying. You never know when your prayer will collide with someone else's prayer and result in a miracle. But this is what happened with Mike and Jamie. They tag teamed in prayer, and it resulted in supernatural synchronicity. You can call me a simpleton, but I believe that God is still seated on the throne. And if God is ordering my footsteps, and I believe that he is, then he is going to make sure I get where I need to go to meet whomever I need to meet. That's good, isn't it? I hope this testimony to God's sovereignty is encouraging, but it's also meant to be an exhortation. Mike wasn't satisfied with simply hearing someone else's story. Secondhand faith wasn't enough. There comes a point when you, like Mike, grow weary of hearing other people's stories. You need a story of your own. It's going to have your name on it. You've got to see it, hear it, taste it, feel it, touch it, smell it for yourself. You need to go get a testimony, and then you need to share it. Draw the circle. Most of us are educated way beyond our level of obedience. That's the sentence that when I read this chapter, it makes me go, ouch. Ouch. All right. Blessings to you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's day today. And we are on our last stretch. This is our final week. So blessings to you guys. Keep praying, keep circling. And remember, we're not stopping on day 40. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.